So today, inshallah, we're going to conclude the step 7 we talked about. It is the journey. It is as a bearer, the responsibility of the bearer of the truth. We have talked before in previous steps about the message, about the messenger. So you as a bearer of the truth, the true message, what is your responsibility? We told you, this is a huge responsibility. It's not going to be an easy trip. And we have gone through multiple parts of the challenges that you are going to face, from mockery, disdain, denial, even financial and physical harm and boycott, the resistance you are going to face. And we mentioned why you are going to be facing these stuff. It's not because you're on the wrong path. It's not because of the wrong message. It's because of the desires of those who are resisting you. We talked about the barriers that are built in this life as means for victory and opportunity to get paradise, inshallah, in the hereafter. We learned about the concept of patience. We lived the journey and the history of this message and the messenger since the Adam and Nuh alayhim as-salam, and the other prophets. We went over all the methods of preparation and strength that Quran and Hadith have used and the Seerah to strengthen ourselves. We learned the concept of istidraj. And now, as we are ready mentally, psychologically, physically, to be the bearer of righteousness, it's how are we going to do that in order to improve the well-being of the individuals and communities. So, number 1, always speak the truth. So when you are delivering the message, when you bear the message, you have always to speak the truth. Always. Do not lie to people. Sometimes we have this tendency, like, I'll mention some of the Islam, some of the message, but other ideas, I don't want to bring it up. You cannot lie to people. Do not bend that truth. Do not compromise on the message to follow false beliefs or some twisted desire of yours or for the person in front of you in order to maintain a social respect. Or, I'm going to hide some issues so I can have more publicity. A lot of people will bring me as a public speaker and stuff. If I speak only the stuff they like, you cannot do that. It does require a great courage. It does require conviction. Remember Bilal ibn Rabah radiyallahu anh, under brutal torture, he kept saying 2 words, right? Ahadun ahad. Ahadun ahad. Allah is one. In the face of all these challenges, he was delivering the true message. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, he would go recite Quran. He was a young guy. And Abu Jahl, a huge guy, would come, slap him, hurt him. And then the next day, he would come by and say the truth again. Is that enough to say the truth? Okay. They told Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as we mentioned before, you know what? Okay, you have God. We believe in your God. But how about you believe in our gods, right? We will worship your God one day, and you will worship ours one day. So you spoke the truth, but ours is the truth too. That's number 2. When we are delivering the message, we have also to expose the lies. We cannot accept that. We have to expose the lies. We have to be very clear. Expose the liars. Expose the actions too. The Quran explicitly exposes the falsehood of the made-up system, like idol worshipping, right? أَفَرَأَيْتُمُ اللَّاتَ وَالْعُزَّى وَمَنَاةَ الثَّالِثَةَ الْأُخْرَى أَلَكُمُ الذَّكَرُ وَلَهُ الْأُنثَى تِلْكَ إِذًا قِسْمَةٌ ضِيزَى إِنْ هِيَ إِلَّا أَسْمَاءٌ سَمَّيْتُمُوهَا أَنْتُمْ وَآبَاؤُكُمْ مَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ بِهَا مِنْ سُلْطَانٍ إِنْ يَتَّبِعُونَ إِلَّا الظَّنَّ وَمَا تَهْوَى الْأَنفُسُ وَلَقَدْ جَاءَهُم مِّن رَّبِّهِمُ الْهُدَى. Have you then considered Allat, Al-Uzza, Manat, 3 idols that the pagans worshipped? Allah Azza wa Jal, tell them clearly, they are but names of which you have named. Muhammad, you're not allowed to worship their gods one day and they worship you. It's just names they made up, right? You and your fathers, for which Allah has sent down no authority. They follow but a guess and that which themselves desire. Whereas there has surely come to them the guidance from their Lord. So this is very important in Surah Al-Kahf. وَيُنذِرَ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا اتَّخَذَ اللَّهُ وَلَدًا ما لهم به من علم ولا لآبائهم كبرت كلمة تخرج من أفواههم إن يقولون إلا كذبا. It's not allowed. And warn, this message is to warn those who claim Allah has offspring. They have no knowledge of this, nor did their forefathers. What a terrible claim that comes out of their mouth. They say nothing but lies. Clear. This is the truth. The other is not truth. Okay? He exposes not just the lies, but the liars too. Remember Abu Lahab? We have a surah. تَبَّتْ يَدَا أَبِي لَهَبٍ وَتَبٍّ. So it is mentioned clearly, Allah stating that he will perish in hellfire because of what his hands put forth from extreme evil. Abu Jahl. كَلَّا لَإِن لَمْ يَنْتَهِ لَنَسْفَعًا بِالنَّاصِيَةِ نَاصِيَةٍ كَاذِبَةٍ خَاطِئَةٍ. You have to expose them and to warn those who claim But no, if he does not desist, we will certainly drag him by the forelock, a lying, sinful forelock. So let him call his associates. We will call the wardens of hell. Again, no, never obey him, Muhammad, O Prophet. Rather, continue to prostrate and draw near to Allah. So it's not just the liars, but also their actions. لهم قلوب لا يفقهون بها. They have hearts they do not understand with. They have eyes. ولهم أعين لا يبصرون بها. Eyes they do not see with. ولهم آذان لا يسمعون بها. Ears they do not hear with. They are like cattle. أولئك كالأنعام بل هم أضل. أولئك هم الغافلون. They are just eating like cattle. Where did that food come from? Where did this earth came from? So lots of questions, right? In fact, they are even less guided. Such people are entirely heedless. And Allah Azza wa Jal tells us in Quran clearly, مثل الذين حملوا التوراة ثم لم يحملوها كمثل الحمار يحمل أسفارا. The example of those who were entrusted with observing the Torah but failed to do so is that of a donkey carrying books. Can the donkey read those books? Does he understand the books? Is he going to do by the books? That's what they are doing. Why are they doing that? So it is exposing this falsehood. And also the actions, right? So أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين. Have you seen the one who denies the message or faith? Okay, he's going to talk to us about denying the message, but now actually he's going to talk to us about the action of those. That is the one who repulses the orphan, does not encourage feeding the poor. Look at them in a lot of places, burning houses, cities, murdering babies and women, pregnant women, robbing land, no regard to an old, an infant, or a human being. You have to expose that when that happens, right? فلا تطع المكذبين ودوا لو تدهنوا فيدهنون ولا تطع كل حلاف مهين هماز مشاء بنميم مناع للخير معتد أثيم عتل بعد ذلك زنيم. So do not give in to the deniers. They wish you would compromise so they would yield to you. And do not obey the despicable, vain oath taker, slanderer, gossip monger, withholder of good, transgressor, evildoer, brute, and on top of all of this, bad morals. So the rejection of the divine guidance will lead to the liars, to the behaviors that are detrimental to the well-being of the society and individuals. And this serves as a reminder for us that the faith should be accompanied by the good deeds and sense of social responsibility. So, you've declared the truth, you have denied the lies, you have to do that with avoiding personal grudges, hatred, revenge. This is very important. We're not about revenge. Well, they did fight us, they did kill us. This is a different message. This is a divine message, not between people, it's between Allah and His people. Okay, so this is important. Despite the clear condemnation of false and evil doers, the Quran advises against personal animosity, right? وَلَا تَسُبُّوا الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ فَيَسُبُّوا اللَّهَ عَدْوًا بِغَيْرِ عِلْمٍ. O believers, do not insult what they invoke beside Allah, or they will insult Allah spitefully out of ignorance. قُلْ لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا يغفروا للذين لا يرجون أيام الله ليجزي قوما بما كانوا يكسبون. Do you know what's waiting these guys? Do you know what's waiting for them? Allah Azza wa Jal says, O Prophet, tell the believers, forgive those who do not fear Allah's days of torment, so that He will reward each group for what they used to commit. خذ العفو وأمر بالعرف وأعرض عن الجاهلين. Don't hold that hatred in your heart. خذ العفو وأمر بالعرف وأعرض عن الجاهلين. Be gracious, enjoin what's right, and turn away from those who act ignorantly. So, embrace those with love, graciousness for their guidance. So, you have to love them. You have to love guidance for them. You have to show compassion. Love the person to be guided, while disapproving of their disbelief or negative actions, just as you value water, right? We value water, but we dislike the impurities and the germs and the contaminants that are within. Our job is to try to clean that water, to help them clean that water and guide them to the truth. So no personal hatred. عسى الله أن يجعل بينكم وبين الذين عاديتم منهم مودة والله غفور رحيم. In time, Allah may bring about goodwill between you and those of them you now hold as enemies. For Allah is most capable and Allah is all forgiving, most merciful. لقد جاءكم رسول من أنفسكم عزيز عليه ما عنتم حريص عليكم بالمؤمنين رؤوف رحيم. There certainly has come to you a messenger from among yourselves. He is concerned by your suffering, anxious for your well-being. That's how you should invite people when you declare the truth. Anxious for your well-being and gracious and merciful to the believers. Allah Azza wa Jal tell them, كَذَلِكَ كُنْتُم مِّن قَبْلِ فَمَنَّ اللَّهُ عَلَيْكُمْ فَتَبَيَّنُوا. At one point, you were in their shoes. Allah Azza wa Jal has given you this amazing gift, the guidance. You were initially like them. Then Allah blessed you with Islam. Be sure indeed Allah is all aware of what you do. So, عَسَى اللَّهُ أَن يَتُوبَ عَلَيْهِمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. And remember, the goal of this message is وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. We have sent you, O Prophet, only as a mercy to the whole world. Remember the teaching, feed the captive, spare the innocent, show compassion, totally on the other side from the followers of Shaitan's way. Preserve life and property, protect the weak, take care of the orphan and women. I wanted to present the narrative of Suhail ibn Amr. Suhail ibn Amr was once a warmonger. He was advocating violence against the Muslims in every battle, especially in Badr. He is really a good public speaker. When he speaks, everybody would listen. Everybody would kind of get emotionally charged like he did. So I'm just drawing the contemporary parallels, like some people we see. Mow the lawn, kill them all. You know people I'm talking about. I'm not going to mention names now. But he was like this when they were attacking Muslims in Quraysh. Suhail ibn Amr. At one point, it's narrated not 100% story, but it's narrated that Umar told Rasulullah at one point when he was captured, is like, let me take those teeth. So he couldn't push for violence anymore. Rasulullah told him, no, I don't mutilate people. Allah Azza wa Jal will do this to me even if I'm a prophet. I don't do that. And he told Umar, the goal is not to take revenge. He was teaching Umar that the goal is not to take revenge. One day, if Allah guides them, this is skill, ya Umar. This skill will be in service to the truth, and inshallah, you will be grateful at one point. So the goal, teaching Umar that the goal is not revenge, but to guide the hearts, and then the behavior, inshallah, will change. That's the goal. The goal is not to take revenge or punish people. No, the goal is to get them closer to Allah. So Suhail eventually embraced Islam. He regretted every moment and stance against the truth, and wasted lifetime, effort, and resources he poured as an evildoer. He pledged. It's written about him. He pledged unwavering support for Iman, stronger than his prior support for Shaitan's way. So after the Prophet's death, Meccans, a lot of people defected from Islam, right? Muhammad is dead, so Islam is done. So a lot of people defected, and it's the term, now Meccans are starting to kind of, all right, we're ready, let's do it. And Suhail ibn Amr, the leader, the public speaker, says, this is the time. This is the time I pay my debt. The gifted speakers stood and delivered an emotional speech, urging them to reflect on their past. He reminded them how their prior waged wars against Islam has hindered it for years, missing the opportunity to be among the first Muslims and get that reward of being among the first Muslims. He emphasized Allah's mercy for guiding them to the straight path and granting them forgiveness for their prior evil. Mecca and its people, under Suhail's influence, became one of the last 3 remaining cities defending Islam at that time. And when Umar heard the story, a smile was drawn on his face, and I can see a little tear going there, remembering the Prophet's words and response at that time. So that's the story of the Suhail ibn Amr. May Allah guide some of those warmongers we see, inshallah, so they can use that skill and those tongues, inshallah, for the truth, not to kill and burn and torture people. Debate them. So use the way of debating, right? Invite with wisdom and kind advice. That's the order from Allah Azza wa Jal. Use a considerate approach. Acknowledge the effective communication. ادعو إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة وجادلهم بالتي هي أحسن. Invite all to the way of your Lord with wisdom and kind advice, and only debate with them in the best manner. Allah Azza wa Jalla says, وَلَا تُجَادِلُوا أَهْلَ الْكِتَابِ إِلَّا بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. And do not argue with the people of the book unless gracefully, except with those of them who transgress. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا مِنْهُمْ. So, challenge with thoughtful questions. أَمَّنْ يَبْدَأُ الْخَلْقَ ثُمَّ يُعِيدُهُ. Always bring it up whenever you are talking to people. أَمَّنْ يَبْدَأُ الْخَلْقَ ثُمَّ يُعِيدُهُ وَمَنْ يَرْزُقُكُم مِّنَ السَّمَاءِ وَالْأَرْضِ أَإِلَٰهٌ مَّعَ اللَّهِ قُلْ هَاتُوا بُرْهَانَكُمْ إِن كُنتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. Or ask them, who originates the creation, then resurrects it, and gives you provisions from the heavens and from earth? Is it another God besides Allah? Say, O Prophet, show me your proof, if what you say is truth. Ask for the evidence. قُلْ هَاتُوا بُرْهَانَكُمْ إِن كُنْتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. So, your intention and your action. Doing this, that's the worship. As a bearer of truth. The invitation itself is the worship. It's not the result. We're not going to elections, right? Okay, I'm going to convince more people so we win elections. That's not your job. That's not your job. Your job is just to do the da'wah. That's it. And do it sincerely. With the effort that you put in conveying the message. ليس عليك هداهم ولكن الله يهدي من يشاء. So Allah Azza wa Jal says, you are not responsible for people's guidance or profit. It is Allah who guides whoever He wills. Also in another ayah, إنك لا تهدي من أحببت ولكن الله يهدي من يشاء وهو أعلم بالمهتدين. You surely cannot guide whoever you like, O Prophet, but it is Allah who guides whoever He wills. And He knows best who you are fit to be guided. يا أيها الذين آمنوا عليكم أنفسكم لا يضركم من ضل إذا اهتديتم. So Allah Azza wa Jal tells us, فَاصْدَعْ بِمَا تُؤْمَرْ وَأَعْرِضْ عَنِ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. So proclaim what you have been commanded and turn away from the polytheists. فَأَعْرِضْ عَنْ مَنْ تَوَلَّى عَنْ ذِكْرِنَا وَلَمْ يُرِدْ إِلَّا الْحَيَاةَ الدُّنْيَا. So after you deliver your message, if they reject it, so turn away, O Prophet, from whoever has shunned our reminder, only seeking the fleeting life of this world. This is a very important advice. Turn away from the evildoers, because in certain situations, debate might not be fruitful anymore. And it may lead to hostility. Believers are advised to turn away from those who associate partners with Allah. فَإِذَا سَمِعُوا اللَّغْوَ أَعْرَضُوا عَنْهُ. When they hear slanderous talk, they turn away from it, saying, we are accountable for our deeds, and you for yours. وَقَالُوا لَنَا أَعْمَالُنَا وَلَكُمْ أَعْمَالُكُمْ سَلَامٌ عَلَيْكُمْ لَا نَبْتَغِي الْجَاهِلِينَ. Peace is only our response to you. We want nothing to do with those who act ignorantly. Right? So this is very important. Rasulullah said, لا تصاحب إلا مؤمنا ولا يأكل طعامك إلا تقي. رواه أبو داود والترمذي بإسناد لا بأس به. Your job is to deliver the message and then keep turning away if they reject it. Rasulullah said, do not be in the company, close friend of anyone except a believer of faith of Allah Azza wa Jal, and share your meals. ولا يأكل طعامك, share your meals at your home with those who are poised and conscious of God. إلا تقي. So this is very important. I try to tell it to my kids. I try to apply it myself. You have seen, it's not just, okay, that's the only thing they don't do and everything they do good. Well, that's not enough. If everything is not being done good for the main reason, for the main purpose, there is no point. So we finished today, inshallah, this step and summarized. Say and follow the truth in both words and actions, adhering to the commandments of Allah Azza wa Jal, setting the righteous example, announce the truth without ambiguity, without blurring, disapprove of disbelief and misguided behaviors, love and compassion for the well-being and guidance for others, as you were misguided yourself at one point, invite with evidence, good questions, wisdom, kindness, compelling argument to convey the truth, be a good example yourself, demonstrate the teachings of Islam through personal actions, listen to sincere inquiries and engage with sincerity when others genuinely seek to understand and inquire, listen attentively and responding with patience, turn away from mockery. You're going to hear a lot of mockery, turn away from it, and insincere arguments just for the sake of argument, driven by personal desires, disengage and turn away from negative discourse, emphasize individual accountability for each before God, maintain emotional resilience. It's going to be hard. Maintain emotional resilience. Do not feel saddened or inadequate if individuals do not immediately respond positively, and know many of them can't let go of the shaitan temptations. Understand that the guidance ultimately comes from God and responsibility is with the individuals. And I conclude with this ayah, وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ قَوْلًا مِمَّنْ دَعَا إِلَى اللَّهِ وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا وَقَالَ إِنَّنِي مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. In Surah Fussilat, ayah 37, who is better in speech than the one who invites people to Allah, does righteous, and say, indeed, I'm one of the Muslims.